Hey y'all. So this round of videos is going to be for the entire month of September as opposed to the usual bi-monthly format because by the time you see these, I will be off having a very particular sort of adventure. If you want to hear a little bit more about what that could possibly be, I will be posting a This Is Me update, which is my series about my own personal lifetimes and shenanigans. The title of that video will be This Is Me, Bon Voyage. So take a look if you are curious. And then for October, we'll be back to the bi-monthly format. And you'll also have your couple month ahead, Mabon and Samhain for September, October ahead videos coming at you as well in September. So enjoy. Hey fellow Aquas, how y'all doing? Welcome. We're going to be taking a look at your September monthly reading here. So this was one of the more interesting meditations I've ever had, which is saying something. So I immediately saw the image of a crocodile. Crocodiles are about timing, they're about mental health, they're about when to move, when to be still. I saw this crocodile that it felt like on the River Nile, like took me right to Egypt, but of course. And I saw this crocodile starting to move down the river. But then like it was like watching a film and the camera like panned outward. And suddenly I saw that the crocodile, which had just been up close, I was actually at like a fair, at like a carnival. And the crocodile was actually part of a game that some people were playing at a carnival as part of like one of those like pop-up games, like get the crocodile to but get all the targets here, whatever have you, or who can get it down the river most quickly, and then you can win like the stuffed toy or whatever it was. So it was like I was at a carnival. And then at this carnival, like there's all these people, milling about. There's cotton candy happening and rides and popcorn and funnel cake and all the things, right? And then I saw the Aquarian Collective kind of sitting on top of one of these like there's the games where they have where you can kind of like balance on it and like hit the ducks or the bottles. I saw the Aquarian Collective like sitting on one of those and kind of had their legs up and like kind of like this looking out at everyone, kind of milling about the carnival. And then I saw this coyote. I told you it's like okay, what are you smoking? But no, I saw this coyote come and just sit by the Aqua Collective, and I saw us kind of petting that coyote, kind of watching other people go by. I got this very distinct feeling that the aspect of us that needs to do things our own way is going to be at the forefront of our experience in September. Okay, the aspect of ourselves that says like I really don't want to do anything that other people are doing and jump on any particular bandwagon unless I can do it in my own unique way, because I really don't want to be compared to anybody else. I don't want to jump on any bandwagons. I want to find that groove, right? Outside of what is currently popular, and reinvent the aspect of what is popular, and then reinvent that vision. And I want to be at the forefront of it. I want to be the pioneer of it. I want people jumping on my bandwagon of what it is. And then by the time everyone does that, I'm moving on to something else because it's like, you know what I mean? It's like not cool anymore. There's an aspect of that like pioneer vision that's coming in here. I feel like you are imagining, seeing, inventing, considering things from a very I want to say revolutionary perspective, but also it's like this aspect of like reinvention, being at the forefront of something. Feels very scientific in that way. So an aspect of coyote medicine, which I love. I don't work with it often. It doesn't come around that often, which I feel like is like oddly fitting for coyote medicine. But the coyote medicine is, yes, very much about steep cis into our sense of humor. But here's why I love them. They're just as observant as hawks or eagles are, but they do so from a place of non-attachment and non-vigilance. Meaning, they're able to observe everything that's going on, but they have a constant case of senioritis, and they really can't be bothered. Which I just feel like is so like perfect and fitting, like for Aquarians. It's just like Like, I see everything you're doing. I'm going to people watch. I'm going to observe. I'm going to take notes. I'm going to think my thoughts, right? But I don't feel the need to jump into what it is. I don't feel the need to join you necessarily. I just want to be in my own energy on the outskirts of the party, observing. And if people come to me, right? Then okay, like let's have a conversation. I can be social, but you will come to me and I will hold my own court, and that kind of like power of just like not feeling the need to join in or be included, but just being a magnet for like those who are like your energy, who kind of feel like they belong on the outskirts of a good party, because that's the best place to be, because you're by yourself and part of a group at the same time, which is really the crux of every Aquarian, desired experience. It's like we want to be a part of things. We're humanitarians, but at the same time, it's like, oh my God, can I be in my own space? I feel like the dichotomy is really like coming forward for September. But it feels incredibly exciting to me. And it feels like there's a lot of potential for creating something or building up an idea or point of focus that is going to change things in your personal experience. And I feel like it can very well affect others as well. And it feels powerful. And I feel like there's an aspect of secrecy to it. That's not like, like shady secret time, but it's more secrecy in terms of like, I'm not going to tell you what I'm manifesting or working on, because I'm going to let it build power and only let you know what it is when it's fully formed, so that it can build momentum. Because if I expose what's going on to your thoughts, opinions, energy, and ideas, then you are a cook in that kitchen, whether I'm ready for another cook in that kitchen or not. See what I'm saying? So there's something to that. I'm really excited to see what the cards have to say. Let's take a look. Hey, fellow Aquas, let's go ahead and see what the animal energy is for the month of September. Animal energy for September. Feels like that one. Oh, of course it is. Obviously is. Duh. Although we have wolf at the bottom here, which feels oddly, I feel like he wants to join. I don't always do that, but I feel that. We saw a coyote, but I feel like there's something very wolfy about the aspect of like lone wolf versus being part of the pack that we're picking up on. So we're going to keep this wolf in the situation for the reading. So we got the dolphin. I mean, a dolphin is a beautiful hybrid energy between that embodies the Ace of Cups and the Six of Cups. So the Ace of Cups being fertility, joy, happiness, great love, great hope, mega intuitive insights, right? It's just that beautiful, beautiful aspect of like, I feel so fulfilled and nourished that, I'm willing and able to share that, fulfillment and nourishment and love with everyone around me, but firstly and foremostly myself. Now, it also equates to the Six of Cups, which speaks of, being able to be in the given moment and also feeling at peace with the past, right? Not remembering things in a worse or better light than they occurred. This dolphin energy coming through for us in this context. Remember when I said the coyote was very much it's about humor, but also able to observe things from a place of non-attachment, like they just have senioritis all the time. There's such a power in that. We do the best when we are not overly attached to the outcome. And there's an aspect of this really coming through, right? And everybody loves a dolphin. There's something about this that just feels very playful. Because remember like the games at the carnival, but it also feels very like, it may appear that I am playing, but really I am like reinventing the wheel in some way that you wouldn't even understand until I'm ready for you to understand. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on. What's going on for Aquarius for September? Moving into Maven time, the autumnal equinox in the northern hemisphere. Right. Okay, let's just point out a synchronicity. First of all, wolf energy equates to that of Capricorns because January, which holds the majority of their birth time season, that's where you have what is known as the wolf moon. So I always equate wolves to Capricorns. So I like that. The sign that comes before us are sister signs. And then we have the devil, which is Capricorn energy. So I like that this is coming through in this way, as a synchronicity. So let's talk about Capricorn energy. Capricorn energy, the Capricorns are known to be very hard workers, right? Similar to Virgos in this way. They're very hard workers. They absolutely appreciate the details of life, the aspect of work that says, like, the more I put into something, the more I will get out of it. And I feel like that is rather the point of this for you, because that's what that energy feels like. The more I put into this, the more I will get out of it. What's interesting is, remember we were talking about the crocodile in the opening of the meditation, how I said it was about timing? And then we have a big clock here, which is pointing to 6 o'clock, time of the devil. You know, there's really something about that where why do I feel like you're biding your time? Or that you understand that, like, it's something is moving and going at the exact perfect pace. It does not feel like you're in a particular hurry, because you understand what's coming in a way that maybe others don't, and maybe it's best that they don't. There's something about this. Why do I feel like it's the energetic equivalent of, like, and just for an example, like an author who's written like their best novel yet, and they know it's going to be a huge success, but they're waiting a month before they announce it or tell anybody, you know, outside of their publishers about it. They know what's coming, right? They know what's coming. So they get to have it just for themselves and feel the excitement of it just for themselves before it's released to the world, and they're, you know, exposed to opinions and feedback and publicity and tours and all the rest of it. It feels like that really, really, really exciting pre-time where it's just for you still. There's something in that. It feels like a cooking, a brewing. It feels really, really exciting. Really, really exciting. You know, another aspect of Capricorn energy can speak to, can speak to our fears, right? And how we keep ourselves restricted and bound by either, oh, look what's on the bottom here. Star key, hello, that's us right there. By our own self-perceived limitations, our own limited thinking. But I feel like there's an aspect of this that says, like, I am operating within my own timing and my own knowing, and I'm not going to be subject to the whims or ideas of other people about when and how and in what way is the best to go forward in doing things. I'm kind of working within my own tempo, my own inner metronome is going. And it doesn't necessarily matter. And in fact, it's better if you're not even aware of it. There's something, it feels like you're keeping it for yourself, but in a good, exciting way. It's like, I just want to keep this to myself a bit. It's exciting, it's growing. It feels very almost Empress energy, where it's like that holding of energy and that pregnancy of it, right? So here we have the Ten of Swords. Now this is very, very interesting here, because in the Humpty Dumpty here, if you don't know him, there he is. There's an aspect to the Ten of Swords where, first of all, it is air energy, right? It's the last key in our air suit, where it's about endings. It's about things being at their absolute expiration point, things being tied up, things being concluded before new things, as in that sun rising up over the wall, dawn can begin, right? So it's like that dawn coming up and going like, oh, whew, okay, it's endings and beginnings in this way. But the fact that I always got to question this. I always think about this as a reader and as someone who truly loves the tarot, right? Is when the Ten of Swords comes up, or when the Death Key comes up, because they have very similar meanings, but one is a minor arcana, this one, which means if we don't like something that we see, we can change it. Right? It's a little more left up to our choices, right? Or the choices of others that affect us or impact us. And the Death is more major. It's major arcana. It's about, you know, this just had to happen. This was just the time for it, and this is the way of life. It's that kind of like, oh, okay, not much I can do about that, right? So it's interesting that we're getting the Ten of Swords as opposed to the Death Key. Now, this is a major arcana with the devil, right, which speaks of a very particular point in our lives where we have an emphasis on, you know, 1, 2, 3, X, Y, Z, putting things into place and an attention to, you know, physical manifestations and aspects of our experience, right? Tidying things up, attention to the physical aspects of our lives, right? Whether this is physical health, our work, our home, our relationships in terms of, like, you know, what they are like in a day-to-day basis, family, all of that. But then we have the Ten of Swords here. Really, really interesting in this context. Do you see this Humpty Dumpty here? How it's all the shells on the ground, and he was sitting on a wall, right? Like, obviously a jumper. Why was no one alerted? So there's an aspect of this that says, like, an egg is it's fragile, right? It's very fragile. It breaks easily. It's something that you wouldn't necessarily think had a long, shelf life, as it were. But there's something coming up here, and I'm hearing the word impermanency. Is that a word? Impermanence. Impermanence. There's something about the impermanence of this that feels like it's very, very much remarking on that aspect of, considering, what do I give my focus to? What aspects of my experience am I considering within the context of the bigger picture and the long term versus what is more impermanent? And then shifting your perspective around those things, meaning I'm going to give less time, less focus, less feeling, and less consideration to the things that are not lasting, and more focus, more energy, more care into the things that are more long lasting in my experience. And that could even translate to the things that really matter. But I want to point out, this is a wall, right? This is kind of like what I saw the Aquarian Collective sitting on at that gaming booth, watching everyone else. When we talk about being on the wall or being on the fence around something, it's about going, well, I don't know if it's this or that, or really being in a place where we can choose completely. We just gotta wait until more information presents itself. But I feel like that's rather the point here. I feel like the information is presenting itself, and there are things that you, right, minor arcana, that you are choosing to put an end to or move on from or tidy up or go, that was a great idea, but not now, or not at this point. There's something else that's presenting itself that your focus is being drawn towards, which makes time and room for other things, right? Let's see what else is going on. I also feel like this extends to some relationships in your life as well that were maybe a bit more flimsy or not as weighted. It's almost like how you view life. It's like, life is precious. We only have so much time here. And I really want to focus. It's exactly it. I really want to give focus and time and energy to the things that really matter and make a difference in my life. Something about that. And then we have the Queen of Swords, which is exactly the embodiment of what I was just saying. This is us in our feminine form, being a beautiful editing system, having a place of high discernment. The fact that she's the great editor, and I had that example about like that, writing that book and sitting on it. She's such a beautiful energy of coming from a place of, I don't necessarily, I always think of like Drag Race, where it's like, this isn't like RuPaul's best friend contest. You know what I mean? It's like, it's that beautiful aspect of like, no, I'm coming from a place of authority and discernment within myself, where I'm not necessarily interested, and not in a negative way, in an empowered way. I'm not necessarily interested in the opinions of others or how anybody else has gotten to where they are, right? I am interested in how I am going to get to where I'm going and what matters to me and what's important to me. It feels like you are muting the opinions and expectations of everyone around you, right? That doesn't have a pony in your race, right? And possibly even within yourself. But the Queen of Cords, well, she's the Queen of Cords in a way. The Queen of Swords is able to cut away anything that doesn't serve the greater good, whether that's her good or a situational good, whatever that is. And she always makes the right call. She never regrets a decision because she just comes from a place of objectivity, which is really, 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 really interesting with that coyote energy, right? Really, really interesting. So within that context, I do feel like there is a part of us that is saying, it's really time to come from my head now and draw upon my superpower air sign energy and be deliberate and focused and mindful of things. But I feel like it's being balanced out with this dolphin energy, which says, but I'm also coming from a place of love, intention, and intuitive guidance and information here, right? I do feel like that's an incredibly important aspect that shouldn't be discounted or denied, right? Let's get some advice. Let's get some advice. Right. So, wow. The advice for September is strength. So This is making a lot of sense. So first of all, this is beautiful Leo energy here. You know, strength is very much about, and I just wrote about this in the August newsletter actually. So this is very much about making the right call or the right choices, even when it's difficult to do so, especially when it's difficult to do so. I'm hearing embracing the unpopular opinion. That's what I feel like is coming up for us. Embracing the unpopular opinion is very much what this feels like, right? It really feels like the focus is on you and what's right for you and stand alone. Those who understand or at least accept my choices and what I'm doing and can get on the bandwagon are welcome to join. And those who don't are welcome to exist exactly where they are, and I'll see them where I see them. But this feels incredibly empowered, right? But this is about trusting and knowing that though you may not know exactly what's coming at the other side of the road, that you are keyed into and tapped into an aspect of your purpose and your own potential. You are working on something or imagining something that you are growing as the Empress. I feel it. And you're so connected to that it is literally spurring you forward and allowing you to be this beautiful ox and say like, I got a lot going for me in this cart, honey, right? And it doesn't weigh me down. It inspires me forward. That's what this feels like. Let's go ahead and get an oracle. I'm feeling like the vintage oracle. You know, back to this wolf and hyena aspect as well, with like wolf representing like a Hierophant energy. You know, the Hierophant is actually really beautiful energy to get. It's Taurus energy, but whenever the Hierophant comes up, it's, you know, the universe saying like everything is exactly as it's meant to be. So you don't need to worry. You can't mess it up. There's no wrong moves. There's no wrong turns. Everything is exactly as it's meant to be. So regardless of the outcome, just trust that it was meant to go that way for reasons that you can't possibly see right now, or maybe don't even want to know, because that's an aspect of the adventure and the mystery of life, right? So there's something that's a very comforting influence when we have the wolf here. So let's go ahead and get an oracle. Oh, it's so good. Surrender. This is so beautifully mirroring what we were just talking about with the strength key. What were we just talking about? Right? Trusting that everything's as it's meant to be and surrender. Remember we talked about non-attachment? The idea of non-attachment with the coyote and the senioritis? Embrace your senioritis, honey. That's what it is. It's such a beautiful thing around this surrender and knowing that like the more that we are able to trust, right, that we will get to where we're going from a place of focusing on what's important and allowing things to end, so that you have time to focus on things that matter more to you at this point in time. I feel like there is a change going on within and around you, especially with these butterflies, right? I feel like there are things that are more important to you now. You feel like your focus has shifted to slightly different things, which means that you have less time for things that were going on previous to now. But I feel like embracing that and surrendering to that inner wisdom and feelings as you feel them, back to that Dolphin and Ace of Cups energy, is incredibly important, right? People around for reasons or seasons or whatever that saying is, and there are aspects of this that really feel like they're important for you, where you're kind of able to look at a bigger picture and go, wow, okay, I want to have more time for ABC. This feels important to me. This feels less important to me. And it feels like a reprioritization from a place of non-attachment. And that just feels incredibly powerful. And it feels like what is going to come as a result of that is going to be very different than anything you've experienced before, because you are different. Your mindset is different, but more specifically, your physical practices are different. In your physical world, something is shifting and changing, and it's allowing things to open up for you that are different and more exciting. And you're going to be feeling like, wow, ooh, there's some major changes about, I made some shifts, but ooh, I'm sitting on something really exciting. Or I'm going to have time for this other thing, which is really exciting. I feel like you're having a new zest for life around whatever this is that is literally moving you onwards. And it feels It feels like a very important moment in time, is what I will say to that. But surrender, non-attachment, trust, and then also there's an aspect of this that just says like surrender to the divine timing of all things, as the butterfly does, right? Because the only way that we, well, not the only way, but a major way that we knock ourselves out of alignment is to not trust the divine timing and try to rush things along. But remember that coyote, remember sitting on the edge of that carnival and that crocodile with the timing of things, right? This is a beautiful time to really sit on the outskirts of the party and build up that inner knowing and momentum for yourself, because where you're going, right, is a little bit different than where you've been. But it feels incredibly exciting. Incredibly exciting. Woo! So that being said, my beautiful fellow Aquas, I so hope that this helps and resonates. If so, please let me know in the comments below. I absolutely love reading your comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'd so appreciate that. And with that being said, just thank you. Thank you so, 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 so much for being here. Please do go check out the This Is Me Bon Voyage video if you want to learn all about my secret tea and what's going on with me. And yes, as always, and most of all, just thank you for being you, and be well. Until next time.